我想问问，就是现
I want to ask how single women around 30 years old these days manage to find partners. I feel like at our stage there are basically only two types of men left for us to choose from, either divorced or those who are basically good for nothing, broke without a penny to their name. It's just so awkward now. I think in our 20s everyone was focused on building their careers, and by now we've gained some financial stability to consider marriage. But then you realize all the good men are already taken, and what's left are basically useless guys who just put on a facade. Are we, the so-called leftover women, now just left to clean up after others' failed relationships, forced to shop in the second-hand market? People always talk about celebrating independent women, but honestly, if you can get married around 25, just do it. Because by the time you reach my age, you'll realize that good men aren't even circulating in the dating pool. They're all already married. By the time you're ready to choose, you're stuck picking from the leftovers in the second-hand market. How is everyone else managing to find partners? Tell me so I can learn and take some notes. In Shenzhen, the gender ratio is about 1 to 7, one man for every 7 women. This city is full of amazing, high-achieving women. I really think no other city makes dating as hard as Shenzhen. There are way too many women and not enough men. It's a brutal imbalance.
我是90年
I was born in 1990 and I'm 35 this year but still not married. I've never been against marriage, I admit I've let myself down. In my 20s I had plenty of great opportunities, but I always thought I was still young and in no hurry, so I ended up wasting my chances. There were also times when I met good men, but I overestimated my own worth and ended up missing out. Now in my 30s I'm panicking and rushing to get married. But I realize I don't have the eye for spotting good men, so I keep ending up with the wrong ones. That's why it's better to marry early, you come across more high-quality options then.
我今年33岁大
Today I turned 33, unmarried and considered leftover. I think one of the dominant reasons why women struggle to get married as they grow older is the prevalence of scammer men. There's this female influencer with over 900,000 followers who does live sales. Her name is Sheng Dali Shichichi. I spent the whole day today reading about her situation. After being scammed by her gold-digging ex-boyfriend, she's now suing him and his mother. Honestly, things like this happen a lot in real life. As an older single woman, you encounter all kinds of bizarre and terrifying dating scenarios, which is why many of us end up staying unmarried. The more you hear about these things happening around you, the scarier it gets. You become afraid of being deceived, afraid of being targeted, afraid of running into men who shamelessly mooch off women, and afraid of men who just want to take advantage of you. So I feel like a big reason many women nowadays can't bring themselves to marry is that there are just too many scammer men out there. A lot of guys claim there are many gold-digging women, but I think women are afraid to marry now because there are too many opportunistic, exploitative men.
我只是没有结
I just haven't gotten married yet. What terrible crime have I committed? Those male streamers keep saying I'm out of water, out of power, and shutting down. Go ask your mom, ask her if she's shut down, ask her if women her age are shut down. I don't get it. If you don't understand, if you're not informed, go look it up online, okay? It's all there on the internet. Stop insulting women every single day, alright? Not getting married is a personal choice. What does it have to do with you? Do you just have nothing better to do? Honestly, I kind of look down on you. I look down on all of you. Stop attacking women every day, okay? Life is already hard enough for girls. Can't you just give them some breathing room? She just hasn't married yet. It's not like she's committed some heinous crime that warrants your daily slander. You really must have nothing better to do, huh? So bored and restless.
一个大龄
A single woman in her late 30s says she's almost 40 and has finally figured out why she can't get married. It's because her standards were too high before. She demanded a car, a house, high bride price, and the 3 golds, traditional wedding gifts, so she remained unmarried and is now approaching 40. Now she's lowering her standards, no car, no house, no bride price, and no 3 golds. Will she finally be able to get married this time? But at this point, it's almost like her golden years are over, like a hen that's already laid all its eggs and is only fit for soup. What do you all think?
在深圳大龄剩女
In Shenzhen, leftover women aren't simply lying flat, they're just too exhausted to keep fighting. Do you think they've willingly embraced loneliness? In reality, they've been pushed into this position by the times. Listen to the stories of these older single women, every word laced with bitterness, exposing the harsh realities of modern independent women. First, 40 years old. In her youth, she proudly declared she'd never marry or have kids, claiming men are worse than dogs. But after her parents passed away, she suddenly realized she had no value left. The mahjong tables in the nursing home were livelier than her double bed. The so-called independent woman couldn't even afford a burial plot in the end. Second, 34 years old. Her medical records outweigh her savings: thyroid nodules, breast hyperplasia, ovarian cysts. These might as well be called social castration syndrome. When the 996 grind of an independent woman falls entirely on one person, hospital test results become the workplace injury reports of single women today. Third, 38 years old. At 28, she always thought she'd find someone better. Now, with a 500,000 yuan dowry demand, she can only cry about dying alone in a rental apartment with no one to claim her body. Sudden death becomes performance art. The noise belongs to others, while her own breathing is silent. Fourth, 35 years old. Even offering a house and car isn't enough to attract a partner. The dating market is harsher than the pork trade. Older women are labeled as expired goods. To men, a 30 or 40-something with assets is worthless compared to a penniless 20-year-old brimming with youth and fertility. Fifth, she priced her education and assets, only to realize men don't even glance at the tag. When a 580,000 yuan dowry becomes proof of being unsellable at 39, she finally understands the need for self-improvement. Nursing homes aren't the final stop, they're a brutal mirror. Think hiding in a nursing home guarantees a peaceful end? Look at billionaire Li Chunping, 7 billion yuan net worth, whose caretakers drained his fortune. Or the elderly man in Shanghai who entered a nursing home with 4 million yuan, only to find it was a death sentence. There are no fairy tale comebacks here, just the bloody law of survival. The scorn and abuse from staff are crueler than any ex's betrayal. Don't assume you'll grow old with your girlfriends. Your bestie might not even afford her own surgery. Don't boast about hiring 10 caretakers. They'll drain your savings faster than you can call for help. Society's punishment for single women isn't moral condemnation. It's when you collapse from a heart attack at midnight, trembling on the bathroom floor, unable to even dial 120. You become a ghost the world forgot. This isn't fear-mongering, it's a cold splash of reality for those living in the pink-filtered delusions of short videos. You can choose not to marry, but you must face the truth. When menopause clashes with nursing home bullying, will your pension be enough to preserve your last shred of dignity? I can hardly believe it. Out of the 800 attendees at the Wuhan matchmaking event, every single one was female. The women were just as stunned when they arrived at the scene. This was a high-end matchmaking event where each woman paid 3,800 yuan to attend, and they all showed up dressed to the nines in their finest outfits. So how is it possible that not a single man showed up? This immediately brings to mind another matchmaking event held earlier in Hangzhou, where men were charged 800 yuan per ticket while women got in for free. But the result was the same. It turned into a kingdom of women, with no men in sight. This has left a lot of people utterly confused. At the Hangzhou event, men had to pay for tickets, so it's understandable if they weren't keen on attending. But this time it was the women who paid, so why didn't the men show up? That's the real head-scratcher. One netizen speculated, those who can afford to buy a car and house outright have probably already settled down. If they meet those conditions, why would they even bother with matchmaking events? And if others don't meet their standards, they wouldn't be interested either. The matchmaking event in Hangzhou was unprecedented, yet no men showed up, only women. These women were puzzled. Why aren't these single men coming? Truth be told, people are wide awake to reality now. Those with money don't need to go, and those without money no going won't help much anyway. It's like discounted out-of-season fruit, basically, what's left after others have picked through it. Let's be honest, the appearance isn't great, the taste might be subpar, and yet the price isn't even cheap. So who would bother checking it out? Think about it, those with money buy brand new cars, while those without can't even afford a used car, let alone an 8th-hand QQ. Nowadays, people get it. They know that if they earn 4,000 or 5,000 a month, it's enough for themselves. But if they find a wife, two people might not make ends meet, and with a child? That's a nightmare. Back in the day, many didn't realize this. They only understood after having kids that the money was nowhere near enough. The expenses are just too high. Sure, some have parents with pensions, so if both sides chip in, they might scrape by. But if the parents aren't well off, how is someone making 4,000 or 5,000 a month supposed to survive? It's simply impossible.
说一个扎心的事实啊，
Here's a hard truth. Many girls claim they'll grow old alone, unmarried and childless, living out the rest of their lives freely and independently. In their daily lives, they're indeed self-reliant, decisive at work, enjoying singlehood, and seemingly indifferent toward marriage and parenthood. To outsiders, it might seem like life has hardened them, or perhaps they've become completely disillusioned with love, leading them to make such a choice. But in reality, they just haven't met the one who makes their heart flutter, the one who'd make them reconsider. Love has a way of catching you off guard. When the right person appears in your life, your heart ignites like a firework. All those past declarations, I'll never marry, I don't want kids, I'll be alone forever, suddenly waver. Even just a fleeting thought is enough to shatter your previous resolve. Without even realizing it, you'll start imagining a future with them. You'll picture cozy nights curled up on the couch watching TV, cooking together in the kitchen, grocery shopping after work, or even, yes, raising a child together. Those once distant, even repulsive scenarios suddenly become your heart's softest, most tender hopes. So don't be too quick to assume that girls who insist they'll stay single forever are truly unshakable in their resolve. They're just waiting for the one who'll make them willingly step into marriage and embrace a whole new chapter of life.
直到今天，我突然间
Until today, it suddenly dawned on me that I have no real friends, nor anyone who truly loves me in this vast sea of people. In the end, there's only myself. Turns out I'm this lonely. I don't even feel like talking, I just want to sit here quietly. Suddenly, life feels so meaningless. What words could possibly describe how I feel right now? Voicing life's trivial sorrows seems melodramatic. Swallowing them burns the throat. 100 grievances rise to the lips, only to feel unworthy of mention. Such is life, both heartbreaking and hard to articulate. In the world of adults, everything is real except happiness. That's the only illusion.
香港嗰啲大齡未婚嘅女
Middle-aged unmarried women in Hong Kong are slowly starting to regret their choices. Recently, I've been matchmaking for many women in their 40s in Hong Kong, and they all say the same thing. When they were younger, they had many suitors and were introduced to plenty of potential partners. But back then, their standards were too high and they didn't give anyone a chance. In the blink of an eye, they've gotten older. Now, the people they meet through matchmaking can't compare to those from before. The ones from back then either had better conditions, are already married, or now prefer younger women. One lady told me that at 39, she's desperate to get married before turning 40. She's even hoping to have a baby or even two before menopause. She's filled with regret now. If she met someone with decent enough conditions today, she'd want to marry quickly, just so her parents wouldn't have to worry about her anymore. To all the fans watching this, if anyone's interested in learning more, feel free to reach out.
我33岁未婚未育
I'm 33 years old, unmarried and childless. Everyone has told me that men are unreliable, you have to rely on yourself. Only when you become outstanding can you marry well and live a happy life. So I struggled for 10 years. I was lonely for 10 years. I worked desperately to earn money, and by the time I reached my 30s I wanted to find someone to marry. But then I realized there wasn't a single eligible single man around me. Even my mom tells me every night that she can't sleep. They've shamelessly used all their connections to try to find someone for me, but as soon as people see that I'm in my 30s, so old, they have no interest in getting to know me. It's 2 a.m. now and I'd rather sit in my car than go back to that home where I'm the only one. No matter how luxurious the house is, it's still cold and empty. It's just the place where I'll grow old alone in the future. I don't want to grow old alone. But I don't know what to do. Would you be willing to go on a blind date with an older single woman? Older single women? Blind dating is a complete scam. Just because an older woman is unmarried doesn't mean she doesn't have a boyfriend. And not having a man doesn't mean she's sleeping alone. Single is just a label. How does she spend her nights? She's definitely not alone, because women won't tolerate unmet physical needs. For them, satisfying those needs comes at zero cost. In fact, some even profit from it. So why are they in a hurry to get married? Not out of love or loneliness, but because their sexual market value is collapsing. They know that as they age, their ability to attract high-quality men weakens. Before their market value hits zero, they must quickly secure a long-term meal ticket. To them, a husband is just a beta provider, a safety net to secure their future. Marriage? A marriage certificate is just a tool for wealth redistribution. Many older single women shop for husbands in the advanced market while maintaining a harem of emotional backups. They sample different men, and once they've had their fun, some move on after receiving a gift or two. Their fish pond always needs fresh stock. That's the ugly truth about older single women in the dating scene. They claim to be single and talk about wanting marriage, but in reality they're just worried about their declining sexual value. Before it plummets, they need to find a naive, dependable man to fall back on.